Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is the first time that I'm doing an English video in a while, and I'm really happy to be finally able to do this. So welcome to the channel. This is mainly a channel that is focused on Spanish content, but I've been willing to do English for a while, as I said, and who knows, maybe I can now start to do more English content for you guys. The only truth is that I decided to do this Players Cup 4 analysis, both in Spanish and English. This is the English part of it, and I wish you guys enjoyed this type of content. I'm gonna be breaking down my team in the first part of the video, and then I'm gonna be analyzing my rounds. We're gonna begin with round 1 today, and then we're gonna keep with other rounds. The Swiss part of the Players Cup 4 just happened this past weekend, and in Latin America we had 9 rounds. Yeah, 9 rounds of Swiss, and it was a really long tournament. We played probably almost 10 hours, and it was really fun. So I prepared for this tournament a lot, and this is the team that I used. You can see the team on the right side of your screen. You also have in the description down below, you have the Poke Paste of the team sheet, basically, without the EVs. I'm not planning on revealing EVs just yet. I think I can probably use this team or a variation of this team in the future. Who knows? So I don't want to reveal the EV spreads just yet, but this was an open team sheet tournament, so you guys have access to my movesets and items. And I can talk a little bit about my decision behind each of these items and movesets as a whole. So I hope you guys enjoyed this type of content again, and let's begin. So for this tournament, I decided to go with one of the strongest hitter of the format, which is alive for Regieleki. That is just there. Come on, Regieleki, can you just please come? People want to see you. Okay, there it is. It's just bouncing and bouncing. So Regieleki with Life Orb is a really strong hitter. Is one of the main Dynamax options in this team. Has Life Orb, it has Rising Voltage, basically because with that you have access to a max lining of 140 base power, and once you Dynamax and set up Electric Train, probably, for example, you can have access to also 140 base power Rising Voltage if Electric Train is up and your opponent is grounded. It also has Electro Whip for speed control. It's a really nice move to have in a mon that is that fast as Regieleki. And it also has Hyper Beam, so you can be able to touch ground type Pokemon that would otherwise wall you entirely, because of course they are just immune to electric type attacks. And Regieleki basically just likes to Dynamax in this team a lot of the times, and with Max Strike you can also have combination of dropping the speed of your opponent and do something with your partner, which I felt was really useful in some times. But mainly you Dynamax Regieleki to go for max landing and get that nuke immediately and get probably a knockout in combination with Helping Hand support. And that's basically the reason why I had a Helping Hand Indeedee, and there is already there. Hey Indeedee, can you come please? Yeah, Indeedee female was the other member of this team. She was picked because of a couple of things that I wanted to have on a redirector for this tournament. I was thinking also something like Clefairy or something like Togekiss, but I just decided to go with Indeedee female because of some things. First, because Indeedee has Psychic Terrain, so I wanted to have that security against Prankster mons, mainly Grimmsnarl, Thunders, that I was expecting to see on the tournament. So yeah, with a Follow Me user, you sometimes can have just Follow Me and make the opponent not able to hit the intended target, which is normally the other Pokemon, the attacker. But it was just not consistent enough in my opinion, because they can just taunt you. They can just basically do whatever they want after they taunt you. So with Indeedee, you don't have to worry about that, because Psychic Terrain is normally going to do the job for you in that regard, because they cannot go for Prankster Taunt, Prankster Trick, Prankster Eerie Impulse, Prankster whatever, Scary Face, whatever they go for, they cannot do that while Psychic Terrain is up. So I wanted that consistency basically for this tournament, and I also wanted to have, of course, Follow Me and Helping Hand support, because of I can use the Helping Hand to do way more damage with my Dynamax Regieleki, for example, or any Pokemon that I want. And I also wanted to Follow Me to, of course, to have security against a lot of shenanigans that can happen, and just to basically have more opportunities to set up or have more opportunities to go for damage immediately if I need to. This Indeedee though didn't have Expanding Force. This Indeedee had Mystical Fire, which was also a move that I was so happy to put in my team. Not because I wanted the fire covers or something. Yeah, I mean, it never hurts to have higher coverage if you ever face like a Kartana or a Ferrothorn or whatever mons that are 4 times weak to fire, basically, or Durant, I guess. But no, I decided to go with Mystical Fire mainly because of the strategy that move can like give to my team. Indeed, it has a Psychic Seed, so it increases the special defense when it basically is sent to the match because it sets up the Psychic terrain. And in combination with Mystical Fire, you can just literally just shut down a lot of special attackers like that are not that offensive, like P2 for example. You can just Mystical Fire, and it's gonna do no damage. They're gonna help your other monsters set up just relatively easier, and also Mystical Fire can help to balance the game a little bit in your favor when you need to. Mystical Fire, Tapu Fini, a Moltres, Kingdra, Lecky, whatever you need to basically, and then protect for that consistency when basically you want to use Indeedee when you need to. So if you don't have protect, you're gonna be forced sometimes to just let it die, and that's something of course you don't want. And then Landers, which is there. Hey Landers, can you come please? Thank you. And there's Lumberry Variant with Swords Dance, Fly, Earthquake, and Rock Slide. Really strong mon, one of the stars of the team. You can set up in combination with Indeedee, Follow Me, Swords Dance. You can just go for a lot of like really powerful attacks, max Airstream, max Quake, max Rock Flow. And it's a really solid Pokemon in this format, one of the best for sure. Easily top 5 of this format in my opinion. And then I also had Tapu Fini, which should be there somewhere. Hey Tapu Fini, where are you? Tapu Fini, there it is. Tapu Fini is a Pokemon that I really like. I think its typing is amazing. Water and Fairy is really good both defensively and offensively. And this Tapu Fini, of course, is a standard Tapu Fini with Leftovers, Calm Mind, Muddy Water, and Protect. This Tapu Fini might seem like a standard, but it had some tricks in the EV spread and its EV spread, which again I'm not planning on revealing just yet. But it was a really solid Tapu Fini. Nothing crazy though. It's just like Tapu Fini is consistent, but it was way faster than what it normally is. I can just give you that little hint. Really solid mon overall. Amazing typing. Muddy Water to hit like spread. Moonblast is really consistent. Sometimes it's like a pseudo snarl because you just get this special attack drops when you just basically click it. 30% chance, it sometimes feels like 100% chance, to be honest. Really solid mon again. Another Dynamax candidate. Not primarily, I think the primarily Dynamax options in this team are Regieleki and Landers, but Tapu Fini sometimes can be a good Dynamax, especially when it's set up at least 1 or 2 Calm Minds, which is sometimes just way easier than what you normally expect. It's so easy to set up a Calm Mind with this mon, especially in a team with Double Intimidate and Follow Me. And then we have Incineroar, the king of VGC. Incineroar, which is there. Hey Incineroar, come please. This Incineroar had Shuka Berry, basically allowing Incineroar to survive almost any kind of Max Quake attack. Especially, of course, from stab mons. You normally survive Max Quakes from non-stab Pokemon, but the Shuka Berry was nice to have a security against like Helping Max Quake Spectre and other Landerses, Mamoswine even. Of course, any Max Quake that is non-stab, Glacier, Metagross, if they're even like +2 attack, you can survive. Incineroar had Flare Blitz, Fake Out, Party Shot, and I decided to go with Brick Break for this tournament. I was debating between Taunt and Brick Break. I initially wanted Taunt, and then like a lot of in my preparation for the tournament, I had a lot of like Screens mons and with Registeel, for example, and I wanted to test Brick Break, and I just like registered the team with Brick Break because you could do that like even before the deadline. And when I decided to just change back to Taunt, the deadline was, of course, already over, so I didn't have the chance to go back to Taunt, but I was, like, of course, fine with Brick Break in that slot because it's still useful. I would have preferred to have Taunt, but yeah, it didn't change anything. Incineroar is just so consistent, and yeah, it's like a good boy. And then lastly, we have Urshifu. Urshifu Dark, a really consistent mon, the best non-Dynamax mon in the game, in my opinion, like, period. Is so good. Wicked Blow hits like almost everything for neutral damage. It's only resisted by Dark and Fairy, and it's very spammable. has like, it's almost like a pseudo Dynamax because you hit for like 120 base power without being worried about like attack drops or defense boost from the opponent or screens. It always crits, and you don't have to Dynamax, of course. You can just Dynamax something else. And with the Sash set, you can even like sometimes get 2 Wicked Blows or Wicked Blow and Sucker Punch. It's a really solid mon, like good speed tier, just Wicked Blow, Close Combat, Sucker Punch, and Protect. Yeah, that's the team for you guys. Thank you for being here. And now let's begin with the first round of this Players Cup. I'm going to be showing, of course, my perspective. This is pre-recorded, of course, but I want you guys to have my perspective of how everything went, basically. And the first round that we are going to be watching here is against a guy from Mexico. And this guy was my first opponent, and as you probably already saw on the title of this video and the thumbnail, I faced this guy that was using a team that I actually built for this YouTube content. For those of you that don't know, I've been doing YouTube content for like probably 6 months now, and lastly, I've been doing a series with some unexplored mons, and I decided to build a team with Pheromosa and Marowak for like a month ago or 3 weeks ago, and that team had Thundurus, Tapu Fini, Rillaboom, Porygon 2, and Marowak. And it turns out my opponent was using exactly the same team, but without Pheromosa and Urshifu. Basically, this series, I take 2 unexplored mons from a list, a tier maker that I had a video with like a lot of unexplored mons, in my opinion, that can have some potential in Series 9. And I basically built a team with Marowak and Pheromosa. And this player took that team, but changed the Pheromosa for Urshifu, which, of course, is a really good decision. Urshifu is just so consistent, of course, and I don't know if he made like probably other changes, like to the AV spreads or something, but the movesets are exactly the same. So I was facing, let's say, my creation, and I didn't know how to approach this because this matchup is not something that I wanted to like, or that I was expecting to face, and I didn't want to face because he has a Defiant Thunders, and I'm using a team with freaking double Intimidate. So normally the way I play against Thunders, of course, I was prepared for that. I'm not gonna go for I'm not gonna play a tournament without having a plan against Defiant Mons. But my plan was Dynamax Regieleki, help behind, and it one-shot Thunders. But I was not expecting to face Thunders and Marowak on the same team, because I didn't like expect people were gonna be crazy like me to put Marowaks and Thunders together, because that was for YouTube. But it was a really nice decision for my opponent to use those 2, because I do think this team has a lot of potential. Again, I had Pheromosa on the Urshifu slot because that was the idea of the whole video, you making Pheromosa useful, and that Pheromosa had a coaching, speed chop, and whatnot for the Marowak. But he decided to put Urshifu, which of course is also really consistent, but I didn't know what to do at first. So let's watch that game, guys. I hope you enjoy. Let's begin. So basically, round 1, this is his username, is Anthony, or Antoine, or whatever it's pronounced. So he's using that Marowak Thunders, Tapu Fini, Rillaboom, Urshifu, and Porygon 2. Also, guys, remember the team sheet for his team and my team are in the description down below. So if you guys want to basically give it a look. And yeah, the Marowak had just like standard attack, Boomerang, Flare Blitz, I think, and Shadow Bond. Thundurus with Brick Break is exactly the same Thundurus that I had. Brick Break, White Charge, Fly, Protect. Tapu Fini, Standard, Leftovers, Moonblast, Muddy Water, and Combine. Rillaboom with Assault Vest, U-Turn Knockoff, Grassy Glide, Fake Out, Urshifu, Standard, Porygon with Ice Beam, Air Impulse, Recover, and Trick Room. So I wasn't sure what to do here. I was like, okay, I have double Intimidate. How am I gonna like actually play this out? I have Regieleki to deal with Thunders, but he has Marowak. So for game 1, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go Urshifu. Like Urshifu can do something against the Marowak if he leads with it. I don't think he's gonna lead with it, to be honest. But it can like Wicked Blow the Thunderous. I have to respect the Porygon also. I'm gonna go Indeedee Urshifu just to like test the ground a little bit, and I'm gonna bring Tapu Fini Incineroar in the back. I wanted Incineroar because Rillaboom can be a problem. I wasn't sure if this was the best lineup, to be honest. This was the first match of the tournament, so I wasn't like actually sure what to do. But I was fine like testing this in game 1. And he led with Thunder's Rillaboom game 1. And I led with Indeedee and Urshifu, as I said. I felt like Urshifu can be good, you know, just clicking Wicked Blow against things. I have Follow Me, I have Helping Hand if I want to. And I was expecting to see the Thunders in the front. I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting that. But I'm also expecting that the Marowak is in the back. So I was debating whether to bring Regieleki or not in the back, if it was worth it. But I just decided to go Feeny Incineroar. I felt it was consistent against the Trick Room mode if he goes like Feeny P2 or something. But the problem is that I don't have an actual answer for this Rillaboom. So, and I also have to find a way to deal with the Thunders. So it's not actually great for me. This is a really bad matchup, to be honest. But I'm going to play it out, of course. It is my team. I know how it works. I just don't have a real way to beat it just yet, I think. So he's just going to Dynamax Thunders turn 1. No reason not to. His Rillaboom was actually slower than my Indeedee. My Indeedee had some speed investment, so basically, I don't know, probably can be mean speed Rillaboom, I guess, but it could also just be uninvested, I guess. He Dynamax Thunders turn 1. I'm gonna go for a Protect on my Urshifu, because Urshifu is a really important one here. And I'm just gonna try to go for a Mystical Fire on his Rillaboom. Because why not? I mean, it's free damage. I know it's not going to do that much damage. He's definitely going to attack the Urshifu. Even if he attacks the Indeedee and not the Urshifu, like, it's fine. I can just Follow Me the next turn. I'm going to go for a Mystical Fire on the Rillaboom, as I said, just because it's free damage. Like, I'm not expecting that is going to do a lot of damage. Probably around 20%, I guess. But free damage. And who doesn't like free damage? Yeah, 20%. Probably a little bit more, but run around the money. Yeah, it's gonna recover even more with the grassy terrain. So, but yeah, it was just because I wanted free damage. But now the problem is, what do I do now? I'm not liking my position. I'm just gonna go for like the plan, which is like stall the Dynamax a little bit and just click Follow Me Wicked Blow. Wicked Blow is gonna do a lot of damage to Thunders, probably around 50 to 60% to Dynamax Thunders. But I'm expecting Indeedee to go down here, like, to be honest. The Rillaboom can just go for a U-turn, knockoff, whatever he wants. I'm expecting a U-turn, Air Sim U-turn. He wasn't even forced to Air Sim anymore. He could have just knuckled to make things even scarier for me. But I guess Air Sim is just fine. And yep, there's a U-turn. And also, I suppose he's going to bring now Tapu Fini or something. He can do whatever he wants. He has a matchup advantage. And I didn't like how I approached this game 1, to be honest. I'm just giving him like free damage, free knockout, free repositioning. And I'm expecting a Tapu Fini here. Let's see if he brings a Tapu Fini. And his second, yeah, there's a Tapu Fini. No reason not to. Why not? I mean, Urshifu's there. Tapu Fini was Urshifu completely. My way to deal with Tapu Fini is normally Regieleki and Landers, and my own Tapu Fini. Also, I can go for like Calm Mind Wars, and with Indeedee and Mystical Fire, and also with Regieleki, I can normally win that like pretty consistently. The problem is that for this matchup, I couldn't bring Eleki, I couldn't bring Landers that like free, I guess. So I wasn't sure how to approach game 1. And now I'm like, okay, I have a problem. Houston, we have a problem now. And because he still has one more turn of Dynamax, I think. And there's a Tapu Fini. So I'm not sure what to do here. He can just do whatever he wants. He can Max Lightning my Fini, Moonblast my Urshifu. He can Airstream Moonblast. He can Calm Mind. He can do whatever, like even Knuckle, I guess. So what I'm going to do here is like, okay, the matchup is not in my favor. The game is not actually my favor either. So I'm just going to protect Urshifu. Do I double protect here? That was my question. Do I double protect? Can I afford to double protect? Like, that's a free Calm Mind for my opponent. So I don't want that. I'm just going to protect Urshifu, and I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to Calm Mind in front of a Life Orb Thunders. Yeah, I know that it's Dynamax, but my opponent had, like, Rillaboom in the back, so he probably doesn't want to, like, attack the Tapu Fini. Let's be honest. And yep, there's the Air Sim into the Urshifu. I could have just double protect to play safe, I guess, but I didn't want him to have a free Calm Mind for nothing. I mean, he's going to click Calm Mind. I am pretty sure he has to click Calm Mind here. I do think that attacking with Tapu Fini is actually a misplay. So yeah, there is the Calm Mind. He's playing really well. I mean, when you have the matchup advantage, it's not enough. Like, you have to play well, and he's playing well so far. So, I was just fine going for a Calm Mind. We're trading Calm Minds here, but the problem is that now the Tapu Fini is also +1 speed, and the Tapu Fini is going to outspeed my entire team. And the Thunder is still there. At least the Dynamax is over, so I can Sucker Punch now and hope that my opponent misplays. But I think his play is just protect Moonblast. Like, I don't see a way he doesn't do that. Like, really. Tapu Fini is faster than my Urshifu, so he doesn't have a reason to not click protect Moonblast. Because he knows he's going to outspeed with Tapu Fini. So even if I go for a Weak Blow or something, he's going to get a knockout first. And there's the Moonblast, there's the protect. So I just took the opportunity to set up another Calm Mind. So I guess I can still do something. Tapu Fini is +2. I haven't Dynamaxed yet, so I can do that if I want to. +2 is nice, but he has a Rillaboom in the back. And a Life for physical Thunder, so... And I'm gonna give him finally a Defiant boost, and this is not great. But at least I have Fake Out pressure, I guess. So what I'm thinking here is like, I'm gonna Fake Out the Thunderous, or do I expect him to switch out? He doesn't have a reason to switch out, to be honest. He can just sack Thunderous, bring Rillaboom for free, I guess, if he wants to. But because he knows that I didn't bring Eleki now, I guess he can also just switch out the Thunderous for Marowak if he has it, sack Marowak, and then have a free switching again. And there's no Fake Out anymore because I cannot recycle Fake Out by switching out because it's my last 2 mons. So let's see, I'm just gonna go for a Fake Out. Do I max the Fini now? That was my question. Can I just max Torful the Thunderous, expecting him to bring Rillaboom? Is he gonna actually just bring Rillaboom and risk Rillaboom getting knocked out? I know it's a Soul Best, but I can crit him or something. I don't think I have to Dynamax. And yep, there's a Thunderous switching out. Is that a Rillaboom? No, it's a Marowak. So, okay, so he always had Marowak in the back. I mean, why not? I have a Regieleki Life for my team. I went for a Muddy Water, so this should probably just knock out the Marowak because I'm +2 special attack. But the Tapu Fini is going for Calm Mind, and this is just not looking great. Because how am I going to deal with this Tapu Fini? It's +2 special attack, +2 special defense. But it's faster, that's the main thing. He's also +1 speed. Yeah, Muddy Water gets knocked out of Marowak with a critical hit. I don't think that mattered, to be honest. +2 Tapu Fini. Marowak is not that bulky in the special side anyways, so I don't think that mattered. But probably, who knows how the Marowak was trained. There is the Tapu Fini recovering health with the leftovers. And now he has to decide, like, he can do whatever he wants. He can bring Rillaboom, he can bring Thunderous. There's a Thunderous. Okay, so now I have a small chance, I guess. The chances I'm gonna Flare Blitz the Thunderous and I'm gonna protect. Why? Because my opponent, like here, I'm just expecting my opponent to misplay again. If he's smart, which I do think he is, of course, he has to double into the Incineroar with Muddy Water because Fini is faster than Thunderous. Because Thunderous gave Fini a +1 speed, but Thunderous switch out, so Thunderous basically resetted that +1 speed. He Muddy Waters Incineroar and doubles into it because Fini is +2, but if Incineroar survives, White Charge gets the knockout, and if Incineroar just it's knockout, then the White Charge redirects into the Fini. But I'm just hoping he misplays and he White Charges my Fini and I can get the knockout of his Thunderous. Incineroar does survive. The White Charge, unfortunately for me, goes into the Incineroar, so my opponent played perfectly this endgame. He got a crit that he didn't need to, of course, and my Tapu Fini protected, so that's really bad. I could have just played a little bit more aggressively, I guess, and just like attack with Fini, but imagine they just White Charge my Fini. Just not worth it in my opinion. The matchup like was bad. The match as a whole was also not in my favor at this point. I still had my Dynamax, but he has complete control of the match. So I was just hoping for him to misplay. Basically, that could give me a chance, I guess. But even if he misplays that turn, it's extremely difficult anyways because he had a Rillaboom in the back and a Tapu Fini that is faster than my Tapu Fini and it's also +2. But again, I was just hoping he misplays. Dynamax Tapu Fini this time, it's just probably not gonna matter anyways. Like, he can just White Charge and Grassy Glide later. White Charge Moonblast, White Charge Calm Mind, White Charge whatever. There's a Calm Mind. Why not? It's a really good defensive and offensive move right now in this context because he's faster, so he's gonna take less damage from my attacks. There's a White Charge doing like 60%, 50 something percent to my Fini, and yeah, to my Dynamax Fini, and it was not even boosted to Thunders this time because he got the Defiant, but he switched out the previous turn, so it was back to neutral. Look that damage! I was just hoping for the critical hit, basically. A critical hit could have helped. I mean, he got a critical hit last turn, critical hit that didn't matter, but who knows, maybe I can get a critical hit now and get the knockout on the Tapu Fini, and then survive the Grassy Gliding, probably a +2, I can one-shot the Rillaboom. So that was my win condition, I went for it, but no, I didn't get a critical hit, so the game is pretty much over. It's literally over. There's no way I can win now. Not even with a crit, because I cannot get knockout on both. I guess a crit on Rillaboom, but even then, like, he just Grassy Glides me. Grassy Terrain is up though, so I'm just gonna go for a Max card, I think, because that can just give me a little bit of recovery. Because I have lefties and Grassy Terrain. The game's over. Like, let's be honest, the game is over. I don't think there's a reason to, unless my opponent misplays or misclicks and doesn't go for Grassy Glide. Instead, like, goes for a U-turn or whatever. But it's just, of course, not gonna happen. He's just gonna click that safe Grassy Glide button and Moonblast into my Tapu Fini. I'm getting some recovery. I also want to see how much this Grassy Glide does. That's why I'm not clicking forfeit just yet. I want to see how much this Grassy Glide does so I can have that information for the next game, for example. Because this is a best of 3 set, so every information is useful. Even if it doesn't seem that useful at first, if that makes sense. So yeah, let's see. I just want to see how much it does, like also the Moonblast. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to survive the combination because the Tapu Fini is +3 special attack. But let's see, I want to see how much the Grassy Glide does because Grassy Glide has priority, so it's going to go first. Okay, so it does around like 45%, let's say, as a Dynamax. So I can actually survive, I think, a Grassy Glide if I'm not Dynamax from full health. So that's good to know. That's good to know. Okay. I lost. Game 1 is for my opponent. Let me update the score here. And let's see. He's 1-0 now. He won game 1. And let's get into game 2 now. So this is round 1, of course. That's why you see down there wins and losses. That means my rounds, basically. This is the first round, so I don't have any win or loss just yet. So I'm thinking, though, what can I do here? Like, I didn't like how I approached game 1. Like, the Urshifu and DD plan didn't work at all. And to be honest, I wasn't sure if that was going to work. I just wanted to try it out because I didn't want to give my opponent the Defiant boost. And Urshifu just felt like safe because it's Sash and I can get a Wiki Blow off. But in the end, it just didn't help at all. So, do I risk the Regieleki though? He had the Marowak in the back. So I don't think I can actually risk it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go for a Landorus and DD. I think Landorus and DD is probably my only way to go here. Because Landorus, yeah, it's going to give Thundurus a Defiant boost, but Landorus Dynamax, I do have some bulk on this Landorus, by the way. Landorus Dynamax can take a max Airstream from Thundurus just fine. I mean, not fine, but I can take it. It's probably going to do 60 to 70%, which is a lot, considering that it's not even super effective, and it's a Dynamax Mon, so it's doubling its HP. But I can take it, I'm going to go with DD, and mainly because Rockfall with Helping Hand one-shots Dynamax Thundurus. My opponent does not have Intimidate on its team. There's no way for him to reduce that damage output, so I'm just going to go for a Helping Hand Max Rockfall play turn 1. Hopefully he leads the same. Thundurus Rillaboom. I don't think he can he can change if he wants, but I don't think he has a reason to change unless he wants to overpredict my adaptation. But if he repeats the same lead, this is, in my opinion, the best I can offer. Landorus and DD, Helping Hand Max Rockfall, give the Thundurus the +1, but getting the knockout immediately means that he's not going to be able to sweep my entire team. And I'm also going to get an Intimidator off into the Rillaboom if he leads with it. And Landorus is going to take a lot of damage, yes, but it's still going to be there, and I can go for Helping Hand, Max Quake, Airstream, whatever later. And in the back, I'm going to have Incineroar Tapu Fini again, in case he goes for Trick Room this time. I need those two. And there's a Rillaboom Thundurus lead from my opponent. I'm going in DD Landorus, as I said, as I already explained. I don't think there is anything like else I can do here. It's not worth it to go for Sword Sense or something. I don't think it's worth. I'm giving the Thunders a Defiant boost. That's scary. And of course my opponent knows that I have Sword Sense. He is aware of that because this is an open team sheet tournament. Psychic Seed activates. Of course, it's not gonna matter in this game. My opponent had like 2 physical attackers in this turn 1, so it doesn't matter. I guess it could matter for a Tapu Fini in the back or something, but I mean, I have to focus on this turn first. So I'm just gonna stick to the plan. Helping Hand Max Rockfall. I knew, like, that's why I clicked so fast. I knew what I had to do. It is my only plan. If he max guards with Thunders or switches out, I guess that's not the end of the world, because if he switches out, he's gonna be giving up the Defiant boost. And if he max guards, like, what can he do? I'm gonna go for the same next turn. I guess max guard Grassy Glide and then Airstream Grassy Glide again probably can be a play. But let's see if he specs this. I don't think if he max guard Grassy Glide twice, he can get the knockout on Landers, because the relevant is -1 attack, and it's not Miracle Seed boosted or something. So I think I'm fine. He's Dynamaxing though. Let's see if he max guards. Landers Dynamax. This is my shiny Landers, by the way, that I caught on Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire games, and I just brought it to Sword and Shield. So I'm really happy to use this guy. And nope, there is no max guard, and he went for a fake out, probably trying to stop me from going for a Sword Dance or something. I didn't want to to risk that, of course. There's the max Airstream doing a lot of damage, almost 70%, I think. That's 70% in my eyes. And yeah, there's a Life for Recoil, and I went for a Helping Hand. Helping Hand goes first, by the way, in case you don't know it. It's higher priority than Fake Out. Helping Hand max ruffle, and boom, there's the Thunders. Finally, the threat is gone. Turn 1. This was the best I could have done in this matchup, basically. So now Thunders is gone. I have finally got rid of the threat, the big threat that I had in front of me. Turn 1. So it's feeling great. I'm not gonna lie. So now Landers can just probably sweep, I guess. I mean, it took a lot of damage, don't get me wrong, but I have Indeedee, I can protect Indeedee, I protect Landers from attacks, unless my opponent brings a Muddy Water Tapu Fini, of course. Muddy Water is spread damage. I cannot protect Landers from Muddy Water, of course, would follow me. But Landers is, it has, what is that, 30% probably, 25, I don't know. It's probably a little bit less than 30%, like 27. So I'm just gonna go for a Helping Hand Max Quake. I could have attacked the Rillaboom. I know the Rillaboom cannot protect, but Tapu Fini is there. I have Incineroar for Rillaboom. Rillaboom cannot touch Incineroar. So I'm just gonna go for a Quake. He went for a Grassy Glide into the Landers, doing some chip damage. Look at that damage. 90%, easily 90% on Tapu Fini. My opponent just didn't protect, which is nice. He went for it's missing the Muddy Water into the Landers though, so that's even better for me. Landers was +1 special defense, and Tapu Fini is not that powerful without a Calm Mind boost. So probably I could have survived that. I do have some bulk on this Landers. But even if the Muddy Water connected, I still think it's fine, because I had Tapu Fini was almost gonna be knocked out the next turn, of course. I still had Indeedee, I had my own Tapu Fini, I had Incineroar for Rillaboom, so I was looking fine. It was looking fine in my opinion, but of course, missing sucks, but it is the game we play. And now I'm just gonna play safe, follow me to redirect anything this Rillaboom wants to go for, and Max Quake the Fini again. He's going for Grassy Glide. There's no grassy terrain, but he's going first, remember, because of the Thunder's Max Airstream turn 1. So he is +1 speed. Quake into the Tapu Fini, which was not +1 speed. Thunders didn't give a Tapu Fini +1 speed boost. So now I finally got rid of this Tapu Fini, and my opponent didn't go for a U-turn with his Rillaboom. So he didn't reset the -1 attack, he didn't reset the terrain, he didn't recycle Fake Out. So it's looking great for me, because this Rillaboom is -1. There's no grassy terrain. I can just bring Incineroar, and the last one is Marowak. Okay, so Game 2 went really, really good for me, even though it's a really bad matchup. I managed to find a way to play it out. So here I can just, I guess, follow me and fly. The Rillaboom cannot protect, so if I go for a fly, I can just hit that slot, like, guaranteed. And I have Incineroar and Tapu Fini in the back for Marowak. So yeah, my opponent just realized there's nothing he could do, so he just forfeited game 2. So now we are basically tied. 1-1, 1 win for him, 1 win for me. Now we're going into game 3 of this round 1 of Players Cup Swiss Rounds Latin America Regional Qualifier. So what can we do going into game 3? Basically, I was like, is there anything different I can do here? Like, the matchup is really, really difficult. So I don't know if I can afford to bring Regieleki this time. I know that for him, the Marowak is not doing much for me because I'm not bringing Regieleki. And Marowak is, like, in this context, it's a disruptive mon that basically forces me to think twice, at the very least, about bringing Eleki or not. So my opponent can very well just, like, decide to not bring Marowak because I'm not bringing Eleki. And he brought Marowak 2 games, but the question is, can I afford that? Can I afford to risk it? Imagine I just go Regieleki, expecting, oh, my opponent is not gonna bring Marowak this time, and then boom, Marowak switching in turn 1, and it's over. So I'm just gonna go for the Landers Indeedee plan again. I think he can adapt. I'm like stopping to think, what can my opponent actually do here to stop this? And I did find one way, which is him leading Urshifu Thundurus. If he goes Urshifu Thundurus, that's the only way he can stop that. But even then, I'm pretty sure I can survive a combination of +1 Airstream and Wiki Blow. I actually cocked it after the game, and I'm not gonna say anything just yet. I want you guys to see, but I knew that I could survive the combination. It was a roll in my favor, like a high roll in my favor, low roll for him to get the knockout. But let's see if he actually brings that in the first place. You never know. Like, your opponent has to identify that, and let's see. Yep, there's the Thunderous Urshifu as I was expecting. So I knew that this was like probably something he could go for. He can just have Marowak in the back. So if I go Eleki, it's just not gonna work. Now we have another problem. What do I do now? What do I do? I can just follow me. Like, follow me is fine, I guess. Because Thundurus gets a knockout on Indeedee. And Urshifu goes for the Wicked Blow into the Landorus. Landorus takes that just fine. It's going to do, what, 30%? 30-something? And I Rockfall the Thundurus. The problem is that I need the Helping Hand. Without Helping Hand, Max Rockfall is not a guaranteed OHKO on Dynamax Thundurus. So unfortunately, I cannot afford to follow me. I mean, I could, but it's just not going to give me anything in the long run. So that's just not ideal. I have an freaking Incineroar in the back, so this Thundurus is going to be +2, actually, if I bring Incineroar later. And a Fini that cannot do anything against Thundurus. So I cannot afford to just follow me here. Unfortunately, I cannot. So what I'm thinking here is actually I'm going to stall one turn of his Dynamax. And I'm going to Max Guard because I know what he has to do. He has to Airstream my Landers, Wiki Blow my Landers. If your opponent redirects, then so be it. He just Airstream the Indeedee then and Wiki Blow the Lander slot. But then next turn he does the same. So he has to target the Lander slot. So what I'm doing here basically is stalling one turn of their max and breaking the Sash on Urshifu. Why? At the end of the day, I'm just going to be basically relying on a damage roll. That is in my favor, but it's still a damage roll. But if Landers goes down, at least my opponent is only going to have one more turn of Dynamax and not 2. That's why I'm going for the Max Guard here. And Mystical Fire is not going to do much on Urshifu, but it's going to break the Sash at least. There's the Max Guard. Let's see what he does. Airstream into the Landers, right? Yep. And Wiki Blow into the Landers. Yeah, there's a Wiki Blow into the Landers slot. So he just doubled into the Landers. And I went for a Mystical Fire into the Urshifu slot, breaking the Sash, doing probably 20% or something. Yeah, 20%, a little bit more probably. And now we are basically in a very similar spot, if not entirely the same. At least the Urshifu Sash is broken now. But I'm just gonna go for a helping hand max ruffle. I cannot follow me. I mean, I lose basically more if I go for that because it's just gonna be over. I need to helping hand ruffle and hope that either he misplays or that I get the roll, which is in my favor. I think is in my favor because Thunder's a +1 should do 65-ish to 70-ish, and Wicked Blow is 30 to 30 something. I know that. So I have a roll in my favor. I think it's in my favor. I actually calc it at the end, but let's see what happens here. I'm going to go for a helping hand max ruffle into the Thunders. He doesn't have any reason to not airstream Wicked Blow again. He knows maybe he misplaced. 120 HP, 120. He did 224 damage. Let's see. Wicked Blow into the Landers. Please into the Indeedee. No, into the Landers. Can I survive? No, it just killed. He got the knockout. That was very unfortunate. I actually calculated at the end, as I said, and turns out I had a 69% chance of surviving Wicked Blow from that 120 damage, 120 HP, sorry, after the 224 damage he did. It was a 69% chance of me surviving. Unless he's using Adam and Urshifu, which of course he could, I don't know. But if he's Jolly max speed, which is a standard, it was a 69% chance for me to survive and 31% chance for him to get the knockout. And he got it. Like, the matchup is really bad for me. I knew that, of course, the first time I saw the team sheet. But I tried. I tried my best. I knew that I was the only play I could go for that actually made sense to have a chance, a shot of winning the game. Again, I could have gone for follow me, but the game was going to be in his favor anyways. And unfortunately, even with a bad matchup, I just didn't get the roll. That was in my favor, but damage rolls are damage rolls. You cannot control that. So it's unfortunate, but it is the game we play. So now, like, at least, as I said, he only has one turn of Dynamax more, not two. So I guess there's still an out here. But to be honest, I just have to rely that my opponent misplays. It's almost impossible, or pretty much impossible for me to win if my opponent plays correctly. But I'm gonna go for it. This is my win condition. I'm gonna like protect Feeny and switch out Incineroar so I can have Fake Out the next turn into the Thunders because the Dynamax is gonna end next turn. So I can Fake Out and I can flinch the Thunders. But he is so smart. He just switches out his Urshifu and burns his own Fake Out to cover my Fake Out. And also, he could have just Max Line into Feeny, that's why I'm protecting, and Wicked Blow the Indeedee, that's why I'm bringing the Dark type Incineroar, which resists Wicked Blow. But no, he just basically anticipated that, brought his Rillaboom, so he's playing perfectly. So literally, without the roll, there was nothing I could have done. But just imagine that I actually survive with Landorus, I get the knockout on Thunders, and that's a completely different game now. So that's what a damage roll can do. Like, it just was a completely different, would have been a completely different game. So I tried my best. And he's playing like really well. So there's the Airstream actually not lining into the Tapu Fini. It did less damage, but he probably doesn't care. He has Rillaboom. So you can just Airstream and then Grassy Glad or something. I brought my Incineroar, so I can trade Fake Outs here. I can Fake Out the Thunderous, and he can Fake Out my Incineroar. He's faster, of course. But I'm actually not even going to bother doing that. I'm just going to Flare Blitz the Thunderous, and I'm going to switch out Feeny for Indeedee. Because Indeedee is going to set up Psychic Terrain. So if he tries to Fake Out my Incineroar, Fake Out is going to be blocked. And I'm hoping that Indeedee survives a +2 White Charge. I don't think so, to be honest. Because now this Thunder is +2. +1 from the Landers, +2 from the Incineroar. That's why I said this is a very hard matchup. There's a Fake Out into the Incineroar at least. Can Indeedee please survive the White Charge somehow? No, it's just impossible, I guess. White Charge +2 Life Orb. And with the combination of the recoil from White Charge, Life Orb recoil, and Flare Blitz, I guess it should be enough. Yeah, I got rid of the Thunders finally, but at what cost? Like, the game is probably over now. He just brings Urshifu. Urshifu can just close combat my Incineroar. It's gonna get the knockout. Tapu Fini can attack the Urshifu, yes, but he just wins. He can just Grassy Glide me. He's -1 attack, so the correct play for him is just U-turn here and close combat. Because by going for a U-turn, He recycled Fake Out, he recycled the grassy terrain, and he gets rid of a -1 attack from the Intimidate. But let's see if he misplays. I'm not expecting he's gonna misplay. Like, he has been playing perfectly this game. So let's see. There's a close combat. No reason not to. Bye-bye, Incinerators. Thank you for nothing, I guess. But it was not Incineroar's fault, of course. I'm gonna get the knockout on the Urshifu, but let's see what the Rillaboom does. Yeah, there's a U-turn. No reason not to. Just recycle everything. Urshifu's gonna go down, but at what cost? Like, it's just Fini against the world. I don't even have a Dynamax option this time around. And it's unfortunate because, again, had I just attacked, like, had I just survived with Landers, that combination, I would have just get the knockout on Thunders, and I still had my Dynamax, and I still would have had my Indeedee there to protect Landers with Follow Me or whatever. You could have brought the Rillaboom, but I could have Max Guard to block, because the Fake Out chip damage probably would have killed Landers, because Landers would have survived like in red health, probably 2%, 3%, whatever. So Fake Out might have been enough to get the knockout. So I had to Max Guard and probably switch out Indeedee, because Urshifu goes for Protect. So if I protect Indeedee, he just gets a knockout there. Bring in Cinder so I can Fake Out the next turn and whatever. Like, it would have been a 4 versus 3, even though Landers would have been like almost gone. But yeah, he brings the Rillaboom, and now there's nothing I can do. There's unfortunately nothing I can do. He can just do whatever he wants. Fake Out Calm Mind, and then Grassy Glide Moonblast. It's over. Like, here I'm thinking, like, I don't think there's any way I can win. I'm just gonna forfeit here. There's nothing I can do. To be completely honest with you guys, I'm not gonna make you waste your time more. The game is over. It's unfortunate because I really tried my best. The matchup was so in its favor, and I tried my best, and unfortunately the roll didn't help me either. But it was a great game. Congratulations to Irving. It was a really good opponent. And yeah, that was my round 1 of Players Cup Swiss. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm just gonna let you know something. This tournament, as I said, was a tournament that had 9 rounds. So basically 9 rounds of Pokemon. It's a really good tournament. I had lots of crazy sets that are really worth watching. So I began this tournament with a loss, so I'm 0-1 now. So I promise the other sets are gonna be really good sets of Pokemon to watch. So if you want to stay and you want to come back, please consider that. Consider also subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, and also let's leave a like on this video if you like it. And I'm just gonna end it there. So guys, thank you for being here. I wish you guys a great day and see you next time. Cheers, guy. Bye bye. Peace.